beautiful dead and living, does your aim look like this? Or maybe it looks like this. Well, today we are gonna try to get you aim to look like this. And it might be tough for you from the beginning to the end, but you shall have this aim in due time. Please stay with me as I explain all the tutorials and all the prepping tips to aim like an absolute god Chad of chatting gods. Yes. Anyways, let's go. Hey guys, what's going on? Dreadful Coffee here. How y'all doing? Hope y'all doing phenomenal. Hope y'all doing fantastic. I'm doing good myself. And yeah, Villa Dead, Villa Mio, and then that's pretty much it. Anyways, so this video is gonna be a little different. I'm doing a video basically on aiming. It's the whole entire aiming tutorial. It's gonna be breaking down the multiple subjects basically. It could be software, hardware things. It also is gonna break down into basically actual aiming and some of the problems with aiming. I know a lot of people. I know one person asked me on like stream, "How do you aim?" And I kind of just want to break that down for y'all so that we all have an easier time into how to aim and how to train your aim. But anyways, this is specifically for only Valorant. I wouldn't try doing this for other games because other games don't have what Valorant has, which is weird. Because Val is weird in a way. But either way, even if you aim up top, just keep in mind that RNG is a thing in Val, and it's really annoying, and it's really stupid, but it's a thing in Val that can happen, so don't always blame it on your aim. Sometimes you just have a bad day. You can't be consistent in Val. That's the honest to God truth, and it's fucking annoying. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into the video, guys. First of all, we're going to go through all the hardware stuff, and then we're going to break it down with all the aim stuff. All right? All right, cool. There'll be timestamp down below, by the way, if you guys need timestamps are basically whenever you want watch whichever. Now that we're on my computer, you guys can pretty much see everything I see. So one of the things that a lot of people I feel like don't realize is that if you go to mouse settings, this is one thing that really fucks your aim entirely, is literally just this little setting here makes it so that way whenever you flick, it's inconsistent. So whenever you're flicking, you're just not going to get that consistency. Because what it's doing, it's going off of raw input, because it's telling your computer basically, if you flick, we're going to make it go faster. If you don't flick, we're going to make it go slower. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense. See how it's more consistent whenever I actually enable the setting? Which is one of the first settings you need to enable if you want more consistent aim and actually want to improve your aim. Disable the setting. Like, now. Just get rid of it. Throw it in the goddamn trash can. So that's one of the very first things you should definitely do. Then afterwards, we're going to go ahead and look up power. If you guys are on Windows 11 or you have the same settings as me or same stuff as me, make sure you go to power and make sure your power mode's up to full. I have power mode set power plan down bottom because I have an Omen operating system. So my Omen basically does that. You always want to make sure to do that. And then afterwards, if you guys, whether you guys have the NVIDIA app or whether you want to use NVIDIA control panel, make sure also go into NVIDIA and just literally do prefer max performance on all your systems. Like, literally, just do preferred max performance. Because that's going to help you with FPS, because FPS is a big deal whenever it comes to aiming, flicking, or doing anything, because of the blurriness and the smoothness of when your FPS is high enough, because of your hertz. Now, granted, getting high hertz is really good and puts you at a massive advantage compared to having low hertz, where it puts you at a big disadvantage. For instance, if you played in 60 hertz, your mouse is going to flicker to, like, kind of like this, kind of like the way it is. But if you're playing on 240, it's a lot better. It's a little smoother, and you got that little crispy clean. But also, it feels a lot better to aim, flick, do whatever you need to. And realistically, playing a higher hertz isn't necessarily a big ordeal. That's not going to change really much of your aim, but it'll definitely help you and perform a lot better. Another thing I would do as well is I would go into your Val, click on Properties, and then just honestly go to compatibility and then disable full screen optimizations and then change high DPI, override high DPI, and then do application, which basically allows you to have raw input buffer. If you're into the raw input buffer stuff, that's completely okay if that's the way you want to play, but you should do it from Valorant side, not Windows side, because if it's from Windows side, it's not as good as people think it is. But disable full screen optimizations also helps a lot and implicates a lot of the FPS loss, and it gives you more FPS basically. Not sure exactly the whole entire details, but basically it just improves your system. It's just from prior experience. Another thing you should definitely do is if you have mouses like mine, where it's basically Razer, you should look up Razer and then whatever your mouse is, like Blisk version 3 somewhere. This will help it so that way your mouse runs smoothly and yours won't end up bugging out. But like Razers, you can easily find a firmware and then you basically just keep it and then you can just update your firmware whenever you want. And it'll update to the latest version of it. Because when you buy it at a store, it's not always the updated version of it for some reason. Some of them are just old and they haven't been updated in a minute. Another thing I would also suggest doing is getting Process Lasso, which I'll leave a link down below, but basically what Process Lasso does is that if I click on this, it's going to allow me to optimize my CPU cores and how my CPUs work. Even the man Tans himself literally uses, and using this feels like it's literally cheating. I'm not even going to play around with it. But once you get Process Lasso, if it's something you want, keep in mind, this overclocks your CPU, so be careful with it. You basically just go in here, activate power profile, just do highest performance basically, or max performance, whichever one you want to do. You just want to get as much as you can out of your CPU and your GPU. And then I think about it. But this shouldn't also overclock whenever you're just in game. It only does it, and it doesn't seem to overclock over system. And my system's been running fine, so I haven't had any issues with it. Honestly, I think it's honestly really good to use, and I really highly suggest it for a lot of people who want to get more into Val or get more into gaming in general. Process Lasso is probably one of the best suggestions I can give you guys. Anyways, but if we load up Val real quick, I also think there's a couple of other stuff I could probably show you guys. I don't know, because it's been a while since I broke this stuff down. Another thing you guys should definitely do, and this was something I would really highly suggest. I know this is really a mess, but use my preference emphasizing balance, and then go to 3D settings. And then if you need to, this is another thing to help with FPS as well, because again, FPS is part of aiming. Turn low latency mode on, and then max performance like always. And if you need to, you could do, instead of quality, just do literally performance. But all right, now that we're back, so next thing you want to do is you want to also look into your network buffering. Network buffering can also help out a little bit in the setting and a tracker, because basically what network buffering does, if you have a really bad internet connection or if you're having worse internet connection, putting that up to max could help smooth out the connection a bit, so you don't have as many like interferences. Because whenever your ping spikes or you have packet loss, it just delays the enable or the setting, so you go back a frame, and that can really fuck you up in duel. Like for instance, if I shot first, but then he shot, I would lose that duel just because of that frame impact, because I got pulled back a frame, which is really stupid. Round pit buffer is something you can activate. That's complete preference though. I honestly don't, because I just don't like it that much. I feel like the consistency is just not that good, and it's just not my thing. Crosshairs, I would do, honestly, any crosshair is good. It's preference completely. It really does not matter what crosshair you have, even the biggest crosshairs. But I would personally suggest dot if you guys like the dot crosshairs. I think dot's honestly goated, because you can see basically everything. You can go from far ranges, you can ADS easily. There's just way more ways to play it. NVIDIA Reflex is kind of just like a preference, whatever your system is good at running with. Not all systems are good for on and boost, so don't always do on and boost. Just take a quick look by literally going to stats, and then what you're going to look for is your CPU, GPU, wait time, and you're just going to click on text only, and then kind of show it off, and do game render CPU and GPU, and then just basically see what works better. What's the highest you can get possible, which for my system is just on. Some systems on and plus, some of the newer systems could also be that high as well. Now, another thing is that if you have process ISO, honestly, the settings don't really matter too much, but one thing I would do is that if I wanted the highest FPS possible, honestly, and still have really good like graphics and looks, I just turn all of this off and have these settings on mostly. Now, these settings kind of help out with also seeing enemies, so I would honestly suggest putting your settings to this, having material low, texture low, detail low, UI low, vintage off, VSync off, instant analyzing, MSAA 2 times, 8 times aesthetic, improve clarity off, Bay experimental sharpening, turn that on, bloom off, distortion off, and then cash shadow off. Now, experimental sharpening will help, like, just see around your surroundings. It also looks a hell of a lot better, and I also seen so many more enemies a lot better than improved clarity. It's like improved clarity, but better by tenfold, which is funny. Which, maybe it doesn't work on all systems, but for my system, it works perfectly fine. And the anti-analyzing helps out with just seeing enemies again, from farther ranges and farther distances. It just feels better, looks better, so I just like the way it feels. And then stroke filtering doesn't really matter. Normally I play on 4 times to be honest, but 8 times works too, 16 times works too. Just keep in mind that 8 times is normally a better option because you're getting the highest FPS possible while getting the highest quality possible, because 16 times is not a difference. There's no difference between 8 and 16. Literally, there's none. But if there is, it's like barely minimal. But MSS 4 times is not bad either. It's really just practically the same, but just slightly better. Again, not really much of a difference. And I think that's about all we can break down for this. Also, simulate surrounded sound, HRTF. Make sure you have this on. This is a big help. Basically, it's gonna help locate enemies through your headphones because it goes all the way around your ears and everywhere, so that way you know where the enemy is at instead of just being like a flat surface. And then I think that's about all I can tell you guys right now when it comes down to that. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and go down to the aim portion of all this, and I'm gonna tell you guys some guides and breakdowns of what you can do. All right, let's say we got all our systems ready. Everything's intact. You already have your system all good to go, and everything's good. All right, first of all, you're gonna buy yourself a Vandal. You're gonna buy yourself a Sheriff. Now, the first thing is you need a warm-up. We need warm-ups, right? What's good warm-up routine we can do, just for aim, generally. So, I would suggest going easy bot mode with Sheriff and practicing aiming ahead. Now, it's gonna be easy because honestly, it's easy mode, you're using a Sheriff. The whole point is just to aim ahead because Valorant is very head-based oriented. If you don't hit headshots, you only hit contact shots all the time, it's gonna fuck you over. Whether it be the long run or short run or even just like plat runs, it doesn't matter. It will eventually fuck you over because hitting headshots is the most important thing since it's a kill, as well as the fastest way to get kills in this game since the kill timer is extremely low. You only get like 0.2 seconds to get killed. Some people are gonna tell you different, you know, playing time frame or whatever the case is. Honestly, it's not true. I wish it was, but realistically, half the time you only get so many seconds to aim. Especially in higher elos, you only get like 5 seconds to aim compared to lower elos where you get 20, 10, maybe 30 seconds to aim. But 9 out of 10 times, if you're playing high elo and you're playing slow and steady, it does not matter. You will not have enough time to aim. But either way, I'm not going to say do this like a rep or anything. Honestly, do as many times as you feel like until you feel comfortable with it and you start feeling like, hey, I can start flicking more. So once you feel like you can start flicking more, honestly, just go to medium, use a Vandal, and just practice it again, hitting heads. You also want to practice your recoil as well. The reason why I'm saying Vandal, not Phantom, is you can't one-shot, and you have to get used to one-shotting more than with Phantom. Granted, Phantom is great for recoil control and more for the movement-based players, but I wouldn't suggest practicing Phantom in the practice range, at least not in this mode. If you want to practice Phantom, I would practice it in 50 limbs, grabbing a Phantom. Basically do the same thing, like always, just aim ahead, but now you're just going to practice while moving, basically, and strafing. The other ones, you don't have to practice strafing, I'm just used to strafing a lot, so that's just kind of my playstyle. But either way, you just kind of practice with strafing. You can tell I'm dog water with Phantom, because honestly I don't practice as much. But the idea is you want to spray with Phantom, you want to try to be very consistent with your sprays as well. Because Phantom has a really good spray into it instead of Vandal, where Vandal you need to burst. But you can also use Phantom as a burst method as well, which is really effective. Because realistically, Phantom's not always about spraying. Because, what's it called? The bullet fucking buildup isn't as bad, but it can build up extremely fast, so you have to be careful with that recoil. But that's what I basically would do for just like training on those parts. And then if you want to practice jet knives, or if you want to practice anything with a little bit more aim, honestly just go to practice range and just mess around with jet knives like this. And then put yourself in weird spots, and you want to put yourself in bad positioning as much as possible. Because this is the best way I can suggest to anyone who want to practice jet knives. Just be in bad positions. Heck, even practice on medium, hard, easy is also another good way, and that's what I've learned to do a lot too. but if you just get in bad positions, it's another way just to get real easy training off. Now, granted, aim basically takes time. It's gonna take a while till you get used to it, especially at MK. Another thing you can also look into is maybe your sensitivity is just not right. Let's say if I was playing on 0.2, right? Maybe my sense is too fast and I just can't hit shots, right? Maybe it's just that, right? So let's just go with, I just can't hit shots because I'm 2 point, right? But then as soon as I swap down, maybe to like 0.18, oh, it's a little more manageable, right? Look at that. So much better. So much better. So much more manageable. Now, Val isn't really a flicky game, so a lot of times you're going to have a lot of lazy aim. So it's a lot of crosshair placement, just going around corners, peeking, and it's crosshair placement. So if I peek around this corner, it's going to be crosshair placement oriented. It's not going to be aim-based oriented. But when you're out in the open like this, it's aim-based oriented hard. Because you're going to be out in the open, as well as there are going to be multiple targets. There could be a target here, there could be a target here, there could be a target all the way over there. It's kind of like the problem. So you have to keep in mind that if you're in bad spots like the open, you gotta cut the pie hard. Like cutting the pie from here, let's say someone was like right here.
Careful.
Like right here. I have to cut the pie here. Just kind of peek out slowly. And then worry about this guy first. Then I flick downwards and just worry about this guy next. But I don't have to flick like crazy. I can always just go and be out his shot. So I got information on this guy. If he shoots, I actually have information on him, so that's free information. So now I can know wide swing or either just slow peek, and that's just a 50-50 whether or not you win that duel. But either way, placement is a big thing in guns. Vandal likes to be more standstill placement, I've noticed, and then Phantom loves to be outspread and just outplaced entirely. It's just the way the guns feel and the way the guns mechanics work. Because you could spray with Phantom easily and then be outplaced, and then just non-stop strafe with Phantom, and it's gonna have an easier time. But Vandal, on the other hand, will not like it. Vandal hates doing shit where it's basically movement based. He'd rather just stand still and head tap to the head and be more confident. Meanwhile, with Phantom, you can basically get away with it. Real easy. Strafing is a big thing as well. Make sure you're always consistently trying to strafe. At least implicate it, even if you have a Vandal. And basically, all you have to do if you want to learn strafing is just go into a wall and just do this. Literally, strafe back and forth, shoot a few bullets, and then just keep doing it non-stop. And this is honestly the best way to learn how to aim and practice strafing mechanics. Granted, you're not going to be consistent with it, but it takes time. And the way I strafe personally is I literally press A, stop, E, A, A, I just stopped the movement, basically. Instead, most people are going to tell you to do this, where basically you shoot one bullet, guaranteed headshot, and then move strafe. But if you do stop strafing, honestly, and then low reloads and high reloads, it still works just fine. You don't really need to know, like, the best movement strafes ever. It's just a preference, again. A lot of people have different play styles, different ways to play. So keep in mind, it's all preference-based, and this is preference-based towards what I play like and how I play. Another thing I would personally do is go into deathmatch and just practice being outplaced as much as possible. You want to be more out swinging and be out in the open and be caught in bad positions, so that way you can learn to get out of those bad positions more and more. And it sounds stupid at first, even doing a team deathmatch, you can do that as well. But those are great ways to practice and train your aim entirely, and those are things I would suggest. But the biggest suggestion I would do is just go easy bot mode, use a sheriff, and literally just practice headshots. Every morning, go in there, practice headshots for maybe like 2 minutes, put in your favorite music or whatever. Don't do anything crazy because, again, this is where you're trying to build up memory. You're trying to build up your aim. You're trying to build up your game sense, everything. And then play competitive. Just do that, play competitive, and just keep doing it. And eventually you'll start seeing more improvement. But don't just play like 3 or 2 matches. Play a couple matches, maybe like 4 or 5, and then get off. Or heck, play 8, whatever. Just play whatever you're comfortable with, but don't ever tilt queue, because if you start tilt queuing, you're going to go back on your progress, and it's going to be more frustrating than ever. Compare of when you just literally play a couple games, and then you get off, and then you basically move on with your day. But that is like the best suggestions I can give you guys, because honestly, not really much I can really help you with, because I'm still learning myself, obviously. I am previously a Diamond player, up to Ascendant player, basically. I don't care about this game as much, though, so it's kind of why I just don't play as much, like, as you can tell. But either way, even in casuals, I still have pretty good aim, so. And someone asked me to make this video. So anyways, but that should do it. Honestly, if you guys just keep practicing, keep playing the game, you guys will improve and get better at aim. It is more of a time-based thing for all games and all platforms. Even if you're going on an Apex platform, it takes time. Just keep playing the game. Even though the games are different, like let's say we go Apex to Val, the games are different, but you're a Predator on Apex, your freaking aim won't transfer fully, but it'll take time, and eventually it will transfer. It will transfer. Give yourself like a week or two. Give yourself a month. Just go on the mornings, practice in the range real quick. Do a little bit of warm up. Get yourself some coffee. Wake your ass up. Because you don't wake your ass up and you go in there sleepy as fuck. Like, ain't gonna do shit, bro. Ain't gonna do shit. You just gotta go in the practice range. Honestly, practice that same routine. I'm gonna leave a link down below to a guy who also goes more in depth into all this stuff. Because honestly, this is the guy I learned from personally. And it's one of the best fucking aim guides and one of the best tutorial guides you can get, honestly. Preferably, I would tell you guys to go to him. But, you know, your boy's trying to help you out too, so. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's just something a little different I want to try. I'm going to try making one of the little coaching guides, maybe. I've always thought about it. I thought it was cool. But anyways, I'm going to catch you guys around, though. Appreciate y'all for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you're new down below. And, yeah. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Catch you guys around later. Bye, guys.